Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Strawberry Hill Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Simmons. Yes, feels like I've been gone forever. We had a week off last week, but I recorded a couple episodes, so we're on track. But anyway, we're here at the Shop Cigar Lounge. Like I always say, got to come see us. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Strawberry Hill Podcast. And today we have Mr. Jimmy B himself, our neighbor, our one of the best pizzas on the hill and probably the city.
Too kind.
No, I'm being serious. I'm not like a food review guy. I wish I was. Eastside's slacking on this new show that I'm trying to start. But like the pizza's legit, man. And if you guys haven't tried it, you have to get down here to try Jimmy B's pizza, man. We got some here too.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah. But welcome in, man.
Thank you.
Welcome
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man.
I've seen you guys been doing this pretty much every time I come and drop off a pizza, and never quite knew what it was about, but definitely glad to join you.
Yeah. So, are you originally from this area?
Oof, no, that's actually a long story.
We got time.
Yeah, so I actually moved around quite a bit growing up. I graduated high school from Spring Hill High School down south on the Kansas side, but my childhood. I mean, man, I was in Dallas. I was in Phoenix, Arizona, Ahwatukee specifically, Colorado Springs, back to Arizona, back to Dallas, etc. Until I finally landed here in sixth grade. And this is where my mom and I found home.
Why the movement so much?
Well,
it's like you're like, don't get in my family stuff.
Yeah, no, it's not that personal. My mom was in a pretty bad accident when I was in kindergarten, life support, in a coma.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, while she was getting back up on her feet, we just kind of moved around to wherever the family was that could help us out. And once she got better, we landed in Phoenix, did that for a few years, and then ultimately came here.
She was on life support. Fuck.
Yeah,
How young were you?
At a stop sign or a stoplight.
How young were you?
Kindergarten.
You remember it?
Yes.
Jesus.
It was I answered the door when the deputy came.
Oh, so you weren't in the car?
No, I wasn't in the car. I was at home.
Golly, that's wild. But she's better.
Yeah, she's better. Still a little slow. She's gonna hate me for saying that, but no, she's good.
Speed slow.
She's good. She's good. She's just, there's definitely some things that are will remind you that she was definitely had a traumatic brain injury. But yeah, she's good.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
But so you graduated from Spring Hill, you said?
Spring Hill. Yep.
And then what did you do after? I mean, I see you wearing the SMU.
Well, yeah, so the SMU, that's a Dallas thing. My dad's side's all from Dallas, still lives in Dallas. My dad was actually the fourth all-time leading receiver at SMU.
Yo, what?
Yeah.
Did he play in NFL or anything?
Enough to get an NFL PA card,
okay.
But not significantly to be a force.
Okay, gotcha.
He didn't. But no, I went to Fort Scott Community College. That's where I signed up to play football. Went through.
I didn't know you had a football scholarship. I played Independence at community college.
Oh, really?
So I know probably. How old are you?
Just turned 34 last month.
Yeah, so I'm 39.
9 days ago.
Yeah. Well, happy belated. But anyway, Fort Scott played football. What position you play?
Receiver, but that we're probably going past where we should at that point. I went through the summer camp. It was a tough go for me. I was used to being the man, everybody's a man in high school, and then you get popped in the mouth a couple times. But in this particular situation, I was brought in amongst 25 other receivers.
Yeah,
into this core.
JUCO ball. Yeah,
JUCO ball. One of the guys was a Serbian dude. He was 26 years old.
Serbian football player.
Serbian guy.
I've ever heard that.
Yeah, and think about this. Eastern, Western European. Their culture. You got to go serve a couple years in the military once you turn 18. So this guy did that after high school for a couple of years. Then for the next few years, he backpacked across Europe and then decided, you know what?
Let me play
some football. So competing against grown-ass man, I realized that I hadn't even peaked physically at the time. I just had hands of glue. I was I was a good route runner and hands, got that from my dad. And that's about all I had. I did not have the stature. I did not have the build. This is before, slot receivers were really even a big thing in the NFL. So I kind of looked at what I had going on and some personal things going on back in my hometown and decided, you know what, I'm gonna join the workforce for now. I'm gonna go back and see if I can't just get back onto a Division I team. So Left, went back to Dallas to train with my dad, and of course, he knows quite a few NFL players. Did some workouts with them.
Oh, no
Try to get
shit.
on with North Texas. Yeah,
Look at you.
Yeah, it's not as glamorous as it sounds. We're talking about second string tight ends, things like that. But yeah, some tough workouts. Tried to get on at UNT up there in Denton, Texas.
Yeah.
And they sent me back to junior college and said, you need one more semester, get your grades up. If you're going to walk on, you got to have better grades. And so that's when I just hung up the cleats and decided, you know what, let's make some money.
Did you go to the JUCO at all after that?
Yeah.
Like UNT, after UNT?
Yeah, so I got back into school, a couple different colleges, wherever I was living at the time, and continued with my studies. Criminal justice, believe it or not, was actually that's what I went.
So
to
much
school
I'm
for.
learning about you.
I know. It's not a lot of time for us to talk, but I'm just delivering pizzas, dropping stuff.
You went to
off
criminal. What made you go to criminal justice? You're like football.
I was always obsessed with becoming a police officer, and ultimately wanted to join the FBI. My mom had
It's a
FBI
great
fan.
profession. It just takes a toll out of you. It's just a lot of stress.
Yeah. That's what I hear. Heard that quite
Did
a
it for
bit.
15 fucking years.
Yeah.
So, did you graduate for criminal justice or?
Nope. More of the same. Well, I'm young, I'm dumb, I'm doing whatever makes sense to me in that moment. Just rebelling. I found out going into my class with Mr. Ken Sissom, who is, I believe, still the chief of police of Merriam, if I'm not mistaken.
Where are you at school at now?
This was Johnson County. And my mom tells me that she's pregnant. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm 18 going on 19, and she's due in a few months. And I was like, what is going on? So, I let that get the best of me. And mom ended up selling our family home and moving in with her now husband, Kevin, who's a great guy. I've got my little sister, Joya, but, just took a different path at that point. And again, back to just making money. That was my focus was, hearing the horror stories of people who did go to school and, having all this debt and whatnot.
Yeah.
And not even doing their career that they set out to do with the degree. And I was like, I can't have debt. I just can't have it. I'm not going to be able to pay it off. I don't know what I want to do outside of, being a law enforcement officer. And then shortly after that, I got a DUI. And so I was like feeling, you know what, this is really kind of setting me back and where I want to be. Let's just go a different direction. And I got into banking at that time and decided, you know what, I'm just going to hone my skills. I'm going to do a bunch of different things, learn a bunch of different things, and see what comes of it.
It's so you did that, and then you worked for Spectrum, right? Or something like that, right?
A lot in between there. A lot in between. I was pretty much
Just bouncing
a
around.
Renaissance man. Yeah, I was. I went from the banking industry to Sprint. That was my first telecom job. So I worked at the Sprint retail store. They're off 135th and Black Bob in Olathe, and that store actually burned down to the ground. It's a yeah. There was a Mexican restaurant that I loved to go to. Their kitchen caught fire and burnt down, so it's an emergency room now. But that was great. I excelled. That was my first real sales job, and did really well at that. From there, I bounced back to Texas. You'll find some commonalities here with how I like to live my life. I bounce around quite a bit. A lot of those times being going back to Dallas. But I went there, did another inside sales job. Actually, my first inside sales job. And just learned new things, man. Developed new skills, met new people, had my eyes set on leadership. So from there, I ended up going back to Sprint for a little bit. And then I came back here. It was Thanksgiving of 2014. Came back here, just didn't really know where I was going, but knew that I wanted to do something that was a little more fulfilling than answering calls, fielding calls all day in this office, just asking people for their credit card. So I came back here, and that's when I got into the solar industry, which honestly, this was probably still today my most favorite job I've ever had.
Solar.
Why
is that your favorite job?
Residential rooftop solar, man. It's come a long way. It's been around a long time, but in 2015, still kind of, I would consider in its early adopter stage. And so it was just unique. I'm kind of a nerd. I spend my time right now playing Age of Empires when I get off. Just came out on console.
I play Assassin's Creed Shadows, so so I'm right there with you.
I was just big nerd, man.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you can create energy off of something off of your roof was pretty exciting, and the fact that they could pay me the amount of money that they're paying me because it was so expensive due to it being so early in its existence. It's several decades old, but as far as the public awareness is concerned, it paid really well. And so when I found out that they were offering, actually a buddy worked there before I did, and I asked him, he posted something on Facebook about the culture, and I asked him, I was like, hey man, how do you like working there? He's like, oh, it's great, yada yada yada, 15K sign-on bonus. I said, sign me up.
15K signing bonus. God
Yeah,
damn.
yeah. So that definitely piqued my interest, and being that I was already successful in sales before, I was like, why not? I was the youngest person there by far. 2015. I wasn't very old at the time, so I was 23 years old when I started in that industry, and rode that wave until they went bankrupt from paying us too much.
That makes sense now.
Yeah,
Maybe that 15,000 should have been 5.
Yeah, maybe. Definitely very poorly run, but great people, man. They had snacks. They did booze for us all the time. If you worked Saturday or Sunday, booze all day. If you're there during the week, free booze after 4. They'd send the interns across the street to Cosentino's downtown and bring a wagon full of booze back.
Jeez.
So, of course, at 23, I'm loving life. I'm hammered, making deals to Geraldine over there in the Hamptons of New York City, buying a $60,000 residential rooftop solar system, cash money.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was great. That was great until it wasn't, right? So got laid off, moved out to Scottsdale, Arizona, went to work for the parent company out there, rode that wave until Scottsdale got the best of me.
How was living in Scottsdale? That just seems like it's a party.
It's
town.
a party all the time, man.
Yeah.
It's wild, honestly. It's like, there's always something going on. You always have someone coming to visit. Someone's there on a bachelor party that you know.
Yep.
Next week is a bachelorette party. Next week is, one of your friends has a friend that's coming in town, and it never ends. And so you have this feeling like this obligation to entertain those people that are coming in town. And so it was wild all the time. And, we live right there in Old Town. This is me and a couple buddies who also worked with me at the old solar place, which is pretty cool because we came into Sunrun as the Kansas City boys. So we were like unique to everyone. Everyone thought we had this accent, this Midwestern accent, which I can't hear. Yeah. But apparently they all could, and they would always mock us. But we had this aura about us and we were all the top 3 salesmen every single month. And so that was cool. And, we made a lot of good friends, but it gets the best of you. Living in Old Town, you've got the square. I don't know I'm sure you've been there before, but
I've never been there.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
I
want to
definitely got to check it out. Definitely the waste management tournament if you're a golfer.
I know, but that's like the same time as like the Super Bowl, isn't it?
It is. It is the same weekend leading up to the Super Bowl. So everybody flies in on their PJs. And they stay through Saturday. Saturday's just a wild, wild time. And then Sunday at the Phoenix Open is a ghost town because everybody's on their PJs flying to wherever is next, which, while I lived there, the Super Bowl happened to be in Phoenix.
Really? See, so you've lived it up down there. Yeah, so what's worse, that heat or this heat?
This heat.
Really?
This heat, yeah. I mean...
because it's humid heat here, and down there is like dry. That's what I hear.
Everyone always says it's a dry heat, right? Which is true. So if you can find some shade, you can go to the pool, get a cabana, hang out, and then if you need to step in the sun, it better be to get into the pool. You know what I mean? And you're fine. Here, it doesn't matter if you're in shade.
Yeah.
It's all over you. But people will argue and say, oh, it's a dry heat. You stick your head in an oven, it's still hot, right? And that's true. But, I think just feeling wet, there's nothing that drives me more insane than taking a shower, putting my clothes on, walking out the door, and then feeling like I need a shower again immediately because of the humidity. Hate that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I hate it.
My buddies, he lives down there. He's actually one of the coaches for the Cardinals, and he says he's like because everyone has a pool down here in Arizona, right? But he's just like, but who wants to swim in a hot like soup bath of your own stuff? And he's like, It's like it's hot. Your pool's hot. It's not cold.
It's bath water.
Yeah,
It's bath water. But you got 3 months out of the year where it's like that, and then the other 9
so it's not
months
that
is
bad.
beautiful.
Really, okay.
It is amazing. Like spring and fall in Arizona, like 80 to 100 degrees feels amazing there. Yes, when you get into July and August and it's 122,
That's wild.
and they're grounding planes because the air is so thick that they don't have enough clearance to get over the mountains. That's hot. 124 is hot. That happens. It happens.
That's wild.
But that's 1 month. The other 2 hot months, 118.
You act like that nonchalant. You're like, it's not that bad.
It's not.
124. Yeah. I'm still going out partying. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, you just got to drink water. Drink water.
You have to drink 3 gallons of water.
There's a street in Scottsdale, in Old Town Scottsdale, that's named Drinkwater. Just to remind people,
Drink water.
you're going to have a good time, but you've got to hydrate.
So what made you move back then?
Let's see. Where was I at this point? Actually, I didn't move back at this point. This was part of the theme, right? Moved back to Dallas. I had started talking to somebody, a flight attendant.
You are like a Renaissance man.
Man, my 20s were wild, man. I was still trying to figure out who I was. I always thought that I was going to be the big football star, and then from there go into law enforcement. And since I bypassed that entire sequence, it was really just trying to figure out who I was. And I didn't know what the future held. And all I knew is that I wanted to make money. I wanted to settle down at some point, and I was just going to surround myself, with people and opportunities that would help me do that.
Good deal, man. I said, you had a lot of fun, I take it.
I had a lot of fun.
She's like, I wish I could go back.
I do. Well, yes and no. Like, I don't think I would ever do Scottsdale again.
Really?
Yeah. It chews you up, spits you out.
I wanted to go there at least once. I want to visit Arizona.
Yes. Definitely great to go visit.
Yeah.
Like, I would definitely go back. And I've visited since. Gone there for my cousin's bachelor party during COVID, so we didn't really go out or anything, but lots of golf, man. That is a great place to golf, which ironically I did 0 of while I lived there. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I want to go down there.
I was too busy, man.
Yeah? Do you golf now?
Yeah, golf. Well,
Okay. All right.
not now that I'm a business owner, but I used to golf
So
every weekend.
I definitely want to get into that. So, like, where in all this are you, like, honing your skills on, like, cooking and culinary?
We're not even there yet.
Not even there yet.
We're not even
Let's
there yet.
get let's keep
We'll
going.
fast forward then. Let me get
No, we ain't got to fast forward. So now you're in Dallas.
I'm in Dallas, right? I'm in Dallas. I'm living with my dad. My dad owns a roofing company, and he's at about 15, 16 years of owning this company now. And how he got into that was kind of similar to my story that we'll get to. But he's always had his own business. He don't like working for nobody, and that's part of his ego of, I'm a football player. I was in the NFL type thing. And he separated his quad, so he had a career-ending injury that kept him from being
separated his quad.
Yeah,
Jeez,
that's not something he really recovered from.
No.
So that kind of ended his career, and that's devastating to the mind, to the mental, to the ego. Being the man, and then it's taken
now
away
you got an
from you.
identity crisis. You don't know who you are.
Exactly, and so he's always owned his own business because he didn't want to work for nobody. Eastside gave me the worst lighter in the building.
It's all right.
So he
Here, no, I don't have one.
yeah, it's all fine. So he went to go work for a roofing company. Never done that before. Learned what he needed to learn, and then was like, I'm gonna go do this on my own. Thank you, sir. So he went to go do that on his own. So for me, over the next few years, I'm working for him up until we get to a point where, I need to branch out. I need to go back and do my own thing.
Yeah, so you're working for your dad.
I worked for my dad for a little bit.
How did you like that? Because I worked for my dad cutting grass and doing snow removal. It's tough working for your parent.
It definitely is. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, it wasn't a lot of work. In roofing, you subcontract out. I was just basically supervising job sites, making sure that everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing. It was easy. And that was probably 20%. The other 80%, him and I were on the golf course.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So that part was great. But then now we're spending a lot of time together, though. So to your point, though, it's still it's still difficult, especially when I beat him. That's only happened once, but I did beat him one time.
Yeah, I bet you that competitive nature. Yeah.
Yeah, he threw a 7-iron into the pond, and then we drove to Dick's, and he bought a brand new set of clubs and gave me his old ones, and those were my first real set of Callaways. So that was cool. But anyways, man, I did that for a little bit. Went back into inside sales, became a director. There's a couple things. I'm just going to skip through this part real quick, but I managed a call center for AT&T, a third-party company that handled AT&T residential services, residential fiber. So that's how I honed those skills for telecom, and then got into real estate, did some wholesale, fix and flip. So I've got a real estate background.
Jeez.
Then I sold infrared saunas after that, and from there, this is COVID doing the infrared saunas. From there, I get a call from a buddy who I met out in Scottsdale. And great dude, one of my best friends. We unfortunately don't have a great relationship right now, but met him and his wife out there, and they ended up moving away. And he calls me in June of 2017, right after he moved and just before I'm moving back to Dallas. He calls me and said, "Hey, man, I need you." I'm like, "Sure, man, what's going on?" He said, "My wedding's coming up and you're invited, but we had someone back out as a groomsman and I want you to be in the wedding." And I was like, "Okay, man, let me know." He's like, "Well, since it's late notice, I'll pay for everything." I'm like, "Cool, man." So I hop out there to West Bloomfield, Michigan, and we go to the rehearsal dinner, and I've been to and in a few weddings in my life to this point. I've never seen anything like this. Their wedding rehearsal was bigger than a lot of people's weddings. It is a 5-course meal at Tam O'Shanter Country Club out there in West Bloomfield.
They got some money.
They got some money. I had no idea. So it's his now wife's family started Pet Supplies Plus.
So they got
Way
some money
back in the day.
Okay.
They sold it for 200 and some odd million and had franchised individually. A lot of corporate businesses will franchise under their own family name or whatever. A family member will own it. They had 100 and some odd stores that they sold off individually. So this was about, at this point, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So when you think about today's money, they're close to a B, and that's before any other investments that they've made since. So I'm finding all this out. I'm like, whoa. And they owned a couple of pizza franchises. I'm not going to name drop. I don't want to.
It's like, I'm better than them, so it's all right.
Yeah, and for other reasons. But so anyways, fast forward a few years down the road into COVID. He gives me that call and says, "Hey, man, I need you again." I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "I'm joining the family business. I'm going to open up all these pizza franchises out here, and I want you to come join me." And
You have to tell me off air what this pizza franchise is.
I will.
Okay.
I'll tell you. But I'm not looking forward to a cease and desist. So
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to hear. I mean, no offense. I don't think anybody from their corporate listens to podcasts. So,
Well, all right.
you never know.
Not. Yeah.
yeah, but anyways, I went out there. I've done all the corporate training and whatnot. Went out to Colorado, opened up the franchises for them. Came back here to do it on my own. So separated from their franchise group, which put a little wear and tear on our relationship in the beginning, and then ultimately just fizzled out. But my investor flaked on me here. So I shouldn't say flaked. Lost a lot of money in the market overnight one night, and that just killed the deal. And so now I was leaving a friendship and a great opportunity for more reasons than just starting on my own. My family was here. My house was here. My dogs were here. My then girlfriend was here. And it was supposed to be a 3-year deal. Then it extended to 5 years. And so I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
And that sucked. I left a lot of money on the table. Working for rich people like that, the opportunities are there. The opportunity was there. And I kind of let that go. And so that's always been in the back of my mind. I've got to make this work, So I came back here. I've done this, that, and the other. That's where Spectrum comes in.
Yeah.
Worked at Spectrum. You've got a couple of guests of yours that are former coworkers of mine. That was a real door opener for me. This was the first time I got back into a 6-figure job since I was in the solar industry. Right? I struggled in between there to find jobs that really made sense financially ever since Scottsdale. And this got me back into that higher tax bracket, and I was able to support myself a lot better. A relationship was ending as I was going into that job, and then I met my now girlfriend. From there, I went to Segra, another telecom company, which really bolstered me up, allowed me to have the freedom and financial freedom to do what I do now, which is start this pizza place and get it rolling.
So when you did the franchise stuff, did you kind of like fall in love with like, oh, I can cook these pizzas and I can do it better?
Yeah. When you're in a franchise, there's
I guess
a lot of restrictions.
why pizza?
Well, why pizza for any kind of business ownership is because I knew it. I built that first franchise for my buddy. I built that. I did the training. I hired the staff. I was there, open to close, 14-hour days for 2 weeks straight, to the point where I went to have a beer after work on that 14th day and about fell out of my bar stool. It was a lot. I grinded to the bone. I was the one that they trusted. So I knew that place in and out, right? The ordering, it was all me. It was my store, right? And it's typical of a GM. But in this case, I was also acting essentially as the franchisee. And so I had the skill set, I had the knowledge, and my intention again was to come back here and open up here. When that deal fell through with the investor, I almost said their name. The family of the
we would have
franchise,
beeped it out.
We're talking 500 stores nationwide, 30 states. Like they're not small. They're just not here.
Yeah.
And the family, the head honchos of this franchise said, we know what you're capable of. We know what you did in training. You came highly respected and recommended out of training. We know what you did in Colorado. If things do fall through with your investor, we want to back you. And so I'm hype, right? Another job. We had this meeting while I was bartending at Topgolf in the interim between leaving Colorado and Spectrum, because I wanted to learn to bartend in case I ever opened a franchise that had a liquor license. So I'm hyped, man. I'm like, that's exactly what I was hoping to hear from this meeting. I told them that exactly. And the next meeting we had, they came back and said, well, sorry. Our attorney said we can't do that. If you can't put any money down, we can't back you, because what if you decide you don't want to work anymore and now you've got equity in this business? And I was like, I get it, but y'all know me.
Yeah.
And so that was just another rug just pulled right there and left me devastated. That's actually when my relationship ended with the last was right after that. So it was the double whammy. So I was trying to figure out what to do. And I always knew, there was things in a franchise, your hands are tied. They set the pricing. They set the menu. You don't get to deviate from any of that. Hours, signage. I mean,
everything,
including what the Pepsi fridge is. What we were delivered a Mountain Dew. It's a Pepsi product. One of the little banners, that goes in the top of the fridge said Mountain Dew. And when you're sending your final pictures for them to give you the authority to open, they're like, get one that says Pepsi. We're like, Pepsi delivered this to us. So they control a lot. And frankly, I didn't like their sauce. I thought that there was more creative things that we could do with the menu. And so as time went on, I waited for that phone call from them to say, hey, you're up. Someone in Kansas City wants to open up, and we want you to be their guy, because you always have to have a guy, right? I was my buddy's guy. I was the one he could rely on. So it wasn't just him in the store and then people that he hired. There's got to be two of you. And it's a good motto and process to have. In fact, I'm implementing that with Jessie next door. She's running the store now. So for when we move to the next spot, she's going to be ready to go. But yeah, I was like, I could do this. I'm not ripping anything from them. There's the way to make the dough. I don't know what what flour they use. I don't even remember what yeast they use. Not that there's a ton of brands. I don't use the same cheese. I don't know what was in their sauce. I don't even know the type of tomatoes that they use, because it all came branded with their name. Yeah. And so your guess is as good as mine as to what went into that. But as far as like technique with the dough,
everything you do is your own.
It's my own. Yeah. And I get to do fun things with it. You get to bear witness to some of that and reap the benefits of that. But yeah, that's what
like.
we got
But
here.
did you have like a love for cooking before this, or you just kind of got into it and like, oh, I can do this, and this is good?
Yeah, I mean, my name's James Beard. It comes in the name,
I know. When they told me that, they're like, yeah, James Beard is coming over and he's gonna be making pizzas. I was like, the guy that gives out the awards? I was like, no shit.
Yeah,
I was like,
dead.
wait a minute. Yeah,
He's dead. Different guy.
But then I was thinking, I was like, oh, maybe it's like a James Beard award winning chef, which you should be damn near.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. I mean, we've got high hopes, but no, man. Yeah, it's all me, man.
So like getting into it, so you're just like, you know what, I can do this on my own. I take it that's how it kind of worked out, right?
Well, it was always in the back of my mind that I'd like to do pizza again someday. I had a great job, and as you know, I quit that job beginning of March. No, it's always something I wanted to do, but I didn't know how serious I was going to take it or how far I was going to take it. So how it came about, I'm sitting at Strange Days Brewing there in the River Market. It was a Friday, playing a little hooky, got off work a little early, having a beer with my girlfriend, and I'm sitting across from her, and we got our beers, and we're sitting outside. It's a beautiful day in October, and she's just sitting there scrolling on her phone. And I'm staring at her for like 5 minutes straight, like, how long is it going to take for her to notice me? This is a nice, beautiful Friday. Why are you on your phone? We got beers in front of us. And I was like, you know what? Instead of making a fuss about it, I'll just suggest something else that maybe she'd rather do. And so it had always been something that we wanted to do, which was come to Strawberry Hill. We never found the time to do it, or whenever I thought about it, it wasn't the appropriate time. And so it finally hit me at the right time, and I was like, hey, let's go to Strawberry Hill and check it out. We've always wanted to check out the dive bars, this, that, and the other. And she's like, great idea. So we hopped in an Uber, popped out right there on Fifth Street over there by Brits and Hillsiders. Walked into Hillsiders. They weren't open yet. Just walked across to Brits, had a few there, had a great time. Moseyed our way up along, what is this, Elizabeth?
Yeah. Or Orville, one of the two. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
I got you.
So we came up, and the street was blocked off. And we're like, what's going on?
Third Friday Art Walk.
Third Friday Art Walk, the last one of the year. So it was meant to be, man, because had I not seen that, who knows where we would be. But we pop into Fat Matt's, grab a beer, and then we start down on the end and work our way all the way down. And popped in here, met Dave, and grabbed a couple cigars, took those home. Still haven't smoked them. I need to. They're still there.
Jesus.
But supporting local.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And then popped into the Davenport, next door, and I had noticed that I went to the bathroom. It was a busy night in there. Went to the bathroom, and on my way, I noticed that they had that little kitchen space back there. And I thought to myself, man, if I was ever going to run pizzas, this would be a cool little spot to do that. And sat down. Girlfriend goes to the bathroom. She comes back, and she goes, babe, did you see that place back there? They got kitchen space. You should run pizzas out of here. And I was like, well, I was thinking it. You said it. Should I do it? Yeah.
So were you like cooking pizzas like at home before that?
Occasionally, not very often. It's
But
a
you
cool
knew you
party
could
trick.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And I didn't have the right pans, didn't have the right ovens. It's just a cool party trick. That's all. I would even do fun things like St. Patty's Day. I would do like breakfast pizzas and stuff, and people loved it. But yeah, I knew I could do it, and so I was like, you know what? Let me just figure out who the owner is. I looked, I saw, Mike Howard, and I was like, he looks like he owns the place. So I went and tapped him on the shoulder and was like, hey man, can I run some pizzas out of here? And he's like, let's do it. And the rest is history. I mean, we've been scaling ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are, the pizza over there, like I said, and I'm a little bit biased just because I know you and you're my neighbor, but I truly think it's one of the best pizzas I've had and probably the best pizza in the city. Now, like I said, I'm not like a food reviewer that goes around, but my opinion, it is fantastic. And I don't even like the choice style pizza. And yours is like the best I've ever had.
Well, that's saying a lot, and I appreciate that. I do put a lot of effort into it. It doesn't get good on its own. This isn't to toot my own horn, but it is to say that the quality comes from the freshness and making the dough every single day, you know, and I know I've got a busy weekend this weekend. And so I'm making quite a bit of dough, you know, in the mornings to set up my employees. I haven't taught her. I'm not going to teach anybody this, no matter how big we get. You know, it's something that you got to keep close to the chest. But I make that dough fresh every
day,
single day, whether I'm sick or not, you know. And by sick, I mean not feeling well. Yeah, I'm tired. I don't want
like
to.
out of the flu making dough.
Yeah, I'm just coughing these enzymes. I my food safety certification. But, you know, those days that you don't want to, you know, I come from a job where, you know, I made really good money and had quite a bit of PTO, 120 hours of PTO, of sick time, excuse me, on top of the PTO. That's a lot. So if I didn't feel it that day, I didn't go to work that day.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Can't do that when you're a business owner. No.
So, you know, when I'm not feeling up to it, you just get up, you know, get that warrior mindset, get up there and make it, because it's not going to make itself.
And then now you guys are getting to the point now you're outgrowing that space. And so now you're looking to go to another place, River Bluffs. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. River Bluff Brewing. River Bluff Brewing. We actually signed the lease yesterday, so I'm looking forward to that very much, because I live in a river market. River Bluff is got their own following. They're the official watch player, one of the official watch places for the Kansas City Current.
Yes,
you know, our women's soccer team that's amazing. And so they just, you know, they draw a really good crowd, and I'm looking forward to taking advantage of the customers that they have, and also vice versa, just to bring some of my own customers. You know, I'm there every so often, and a lot of times I see people going in there looking for food, and they don't have any right now, and I saw an opportunity, and I took it.
They are blessed to have you. I hate that you're leaving the hill, but
for now,
but it's for a good thing. You're growing your business. It's not like you're going out of business. You're growing your business, and that's like the best thing to do.
Yeah, I could get along fine here. The problem, a good problem,
space.
Yeah, I need more space. I need more space than what I have currently. I never would have guessed. I mean, I opened this thinking I was going to do a pop up every now and again, and thank you again to Mike Howard, who pushed me to be like, mostly out of necessity, to do more, to do every weekend. So I was working those 5 days at my other job, and then I'd come in early Saturday morning, and I'd make the dough, and I'd stay here all day, and then sometimes Sundays. And then from there, you know, the growth really took hold, and it just required, if I wanted this to be more than what it was going to require me to do it full time. And so that's when I quit my job there beginning of March to open 4 days a week. And from there, it just kind of steamrolled. And, you know, you gotta kind of have some foresight. And I kind of saw on the horizon what was going to happen, especially with the experience. But once you turn on the third-party aggregators like DoorDash, Uber Eats, you know things are going to explode. Once that catches, it's off to the races. And so that's where we saw our week-over-week growth, our month-over-month growth start to hit the 20% range, 30% range. And that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, any more than this, I don't have the space. I don't have the electricity. I don't have the refrigeration. I don't have the space to even have employees in here. I don't have the capacity to do it here. I just can't do this at the scale that I want in this location anymore, unfortunately. But definitely excited for what's about to happen.
So, what is the most, like, I guess, what's your favorite thing to cook? Like, Pizza wise, like if someone wants to go over there to order the Jimmy favorite, what is it?
Well,
because you even have wings too, and your lemon pepper wings are so good. Yeah, Esai is a pepperoni jalapeno every single day.
Every single day, except for today, man. He's slacking.
Well, yeah. Well, he thinks he's going to eat some of this. I don't know about
that. My favorite thing to make is pepperoni, and that's because I can make it quick. And it's
well, no. What's your favorite thing to eat?
My favorite is the Jimmy B special.
There you go.
Named after me. It's pepperoni, spicy pepperoni or bold pepperoni, bacon, and banana peppers. I think it's just a perfect salty sweet combo. It doesn't get any better than that. The texture differential with the bacon and the banana peppers is second to none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you eat anyone else's pizza? Like, do you go anywhere else? Like, because I know, like, being a business owner, like I get it. Like, I love being in here. I love smoking cigars with people. Yeah. But like on my off day, like I don't come here to smoke a cigar because then I'm just gonna be working.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good pizza places in the city. I love pizza. I don't, you asked what my favorite is. I don't eat my own pizza hardly at all anymore, just being around it so much. So if I'm going to go get a pizza, I'm going to try a different style.
Yeah.
One of my favorite places to get pizza just because it's close and it is Neapolitan is Il Lazzarone.
Il Lazzarone, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's different. I think they've recently made their pizzas a little bit bigger, which makes me happy. But their competition now, we're in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now. I'm coming to take some of your market share in Lazzarone. I have no shame about it. But it's all fun and games. But it's good pizza. I think that there's tons of other good places. Pizza Tasio, for example, Providence, but nobody does Detroit style pizza correctly. I'm sorry, they just don't.
If you set the bar, like. It's legit, yeah. So I'll still settle for a good old Pizza Hut pizza. Don't get me wrong. I love just a good pepperoni. I don't know if that's because I consider myself a Kansan, but yeah, I love all pizza, man. Now we gotta try to get like maybe if Dave Portnoy comes in town one of these days, like go to Jimmy B's.
Yeah, you know how he does that, right? So you got to get his app. It's the One Bite app. I believe. Someone fact check me on that, but it's the One Bite app. That's what it's called,
One Bite app, yeah.
And he relies on fans to go ahead and put their reviews on there. And so if he's going to a particular city for something that's outside of the tri-state area, right? For instance, the Super Bowl in New Orleans, he did a bunch of reviews back in February leading up to the Super Bowl. But if he's going to be in the city, World Cup's coming up. He'll probably be.
I hope so.
Here, Dallas,
maybe
somewhere.
They'll build a new stadium, hopefully in KCK.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, and maybe he'll come here for a Super Bowl, and we can get him to stop at Jimmy. Do you have the One Bite app? Are you on there?
I don't.
Well,
I don't
now
think
you
I
need
do.
to get on there.
I don't think I do. Yeah, I should. But anyways, everyone needs to get that. And then if you put Jimmy B's on there.
So it's not you, it's them that put.
No, it's them. It's volume. Just like when you open up Google and say pizza near me, it's going to pull up whoever's spending the most money. But whoever has the most reviews, is definitely one of the algorithm factors. So same thing with the One Bite app. If he sees that 1,000 people have tagged Jimmy B's, he's going to be like, "What is this? I'm in town. I'll fly into the downtown airport, scoot right on over to the River Market, try me some Jimmy B's, and do a review."
Yeah. So I know you got to get going here soon because I know you got. You going to NASCAR tonight?
Yeah,
NASCAR. How'd you get into that?
I'm not into it, man. I'm not into it. On my first race, I had a buddy. Little nugget here. I actually left and went to Texas for high school for 1 quarter in my junior year until I broke my collarbone in spring practice, spring training, right before the spring game. But in that time, I met someone on the football team. His family was loaded, and they always had sweet tickets. So I went to a race at Texas Motor Speedway, and I always thought Danica was hot, and that was when she was first getting into racing, Danica Patrick. And that was fun. I was 10,
they're
17.
not bad to go to.
No, it was cool.
That. Yeah.
But now, my girlfriend, Cass, her best friend, Catherine, her dad works for Procter & Gamble. And so one of the races that happens here in Kansas City prior to the Cup race on Sunday is the Arca Menards whatever 500. And by whatever, I mean Dawn or Tide or some Procter & Gamble product. And so we just get a plethora of sweet tickets, and we go and have a
so you're
white trash bash.
The right way.
Yeah. Free. Free and air conditioned.
Yes.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in like the next 5-10 years?
Oh man, 5 years. I'm hoping that Jimmy B's is the go-to pizza spot in Kansas City. I want to have great brand recognition, brand awareness.
Franchising it?
That would be something that I would be open to, and I've talked about quite a bit. It's a scary thought because, even hiring an employee, her first couple of days, I stuck around for like an hour, and I'm in the kitchen, and I start sweeping stuff, and she's like, "Stop! I got it. I can sweep the floors."
So you let me get this right. Eastside's over there. So you don't think an employee could get this right in a week to learn how to run a business, right?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not running.
Definitely not. But Eastside could, right? Eastside thinks that he can just go into a business, learn it for about a week, and just like, I got it.
All right, what was the question?
Because he's like, we were talking about, like opening up a new franchise. Like, if you were to franchise his stuff and like open up a new business or a new Jimmy B's, like having more than one location, and just be like, it's a scary thought because like he's not there all the time, and training someone to,
quality control.
Yeah. But I just said what you told me earlier. Like Eastside's like, oh, a week, I got it.
No. Listen, that you're taking it out of context. Because we were talking about
Ownership,
owning a bar.
Yeah.
And I said that with me having no experience in running a bar, but me knowing plenty of people who currently run bars, I can go consult with them.
You've got people to lean on.
I got people to lean on, and I could figure it out, like a system to run the bar within a week. If I'm actually like on it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like just like make a couple phone calls. I'm saying I could figure that shit out in a week. But my brain works
just
very
confident.
autistically.
Confident is that's the first recipe or first ingredient in the recipe, right? Is the confidence. You might figure it out, meaning you're confident in the recipe that you have until it fails, and then you have to revamp, man. You got to pivot, you got to adjust.
Right.
That's put in the more recipe.
No, and see that I wasn't talking about to the success of the business. I was saying to figuring out how to operate it.
Yeah, to where it's not dysfunctional.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So he's taking it out of context. Mike's always
I wasn't there.
Mike's always trying to fucking
take it out of context.
I wasn't there. I wasn't.
Eastside got it though.
Okay, wait. I got a question for Jimmy real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
Because so he wants to do a food review show, right?
Yeah.
And I love the idea of it. But
there ain't no food around here.
He doesn't want to give bad reviews.
No. All right, my audience. Now we can talk about this. It's not that I don't want to give bad reviews. It's not about doing food reviews. It's about learning who's behind the food.
That's not a review then.
I didn't say it was a review.
You said it was.
I know, but I didn't mean
inter-review.
It's a review.
It's an inter-review.
Yeah, but really, like I'm going there and I'm telling people to go there, and like. I'm going there to, like, if I would go to the Jimmy spot, like, we would talk about, we would sit down and have this kind of podcast conversation. It'd be a shorter version. We'd eat his food, we'd talk about his life, enjoy the good conversation. And that's the purpose. Like, I told you, it's like Anthony Bourdain style.
Yeah, no.
Like, Anthony Bourdain doesn't give reviews. He goes to the spot. He's not going to say, like, this is shit
He's also
food.
a world-renowned chef.
Yeah,
people care about his
opinion. But people like...
He didn't give opinions, though. Yeah. He's just getting to know people.
You want to argue about this right now?
No, we don't.
It's basically a camera.
No, but if we did a show, I would rather it be a review show.
Yeah, but I'm not a food reviewer.
Yeah.
He said that a few times.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? We'll still have a lot of things to iron out. Yeah.
So to your question, franchising, yes, that's on the table. But it is a scary thought. That's 5 years. I just want people to know about it. I want to get married, buy a house, have our first child, live my life, and then let that other stuff just fall into place. But 10 years, I mean, I would like to have 2 or 3, maybe. Mm-hmm. Or I'd be open to selling it, if it was enough.
I'll sell it. Maybe sell one of them.
Yeah.
We need Jimmy in the house.
I'm open.
I don't need anyone else to know the recipe except you.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always said this, man. I wanted to get into something that I could bring my friends and good people around me into with me. Mostly so it's not just all on my shoulders. You've got the power of, as Isai's saying, like the people who know what they're doing. Try different concepts, shop, cigar lounge, and pizza pub, where there's an attached bar that has a restaurant and maybe it's glass, like you talked about, where you could see in, but glass into the kitchen, and you're just able to pump out pizzas and, maybe a little small hole in the wall late night spot that just pumps out pies.
Eventually that's my 5-year plan. Just own this strip and then just put you somewhere here.
Yeah, Matt, you're on notice.
Yeah. On notice. But before we get out, you got to let me know if it's on the camera. You guys, this is the pizza we're talking about. Good pizza. You see it? We good? Yeah.
That's
yeah.
hour and a half old.
They don't know this.
Well, I know it. I'm looking at it.
I'm about to enjoy this. And then we got the cheese sticks, too, because you just started this. Right? You just started this not too long ago, right?
I've always had the breadsticks.
Well, fuck, I didn't know about it. Look at that. And then you make your own ranch, too.
That ranch is homemade.
Yes. Oh, this is amazing.
Thank you.
I'm so happy. And I don't know if we're going to film eating it, but I'm going to eat some good pizza.
Yeah, some mukbang.
Isai is like trying to get some, and I told him no. He's not a part of this. What?
He's got a headache. He can't.
He's got a headache.
He can't eat.
He can't eat pizza
right
when
now.
he has a headache. But Jimmy, I'm glad you came on, man.
Hey, man, thank
it's
you
been a
so
pleasure.
much.
Yeah. Tell people how they can find you, like Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff.
Just Google Jimmy B's Pizza and Wings. Start there because that's where you're going to be able to find the menu. It's on Toast. It'll say Toast 401 North 6th Street. That'll soon change. My new address is going to be 201 Main Street inside River Bluff Brewing. That's in Kansas City, Missouri, 64105 in the River Market. On Instagram, it's Jimmy BS Pizza. I know, BS. I get it. I didn't want to do it. I had to. Jimmy B Pizza was taken for some reason.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. But, yeah, and then if you need to email me, it's chefjimmy@jimmybpizza.com.
Yes.
Website
and
coming
you
soon.
catering all that stuff too, right?
With the new place, we will because
All
we'll
right.
have the
Good.
capacity.
And then there'll be a future event this month that only the people that are in the end know that he's going to be giving us some food for the event.
That's
So
right. Is the data secret?
it's a secret. I don't need everybody to know about it.
Yeah.
It's like once you're in, you're in.
That's right. Limited capacity.
Yes,
baby.
but like I said, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Strawberry Hill Podcast, and we will catch you next time.
Peace.